When the earth starts to settle, God throws a stone at it. And believe me, he's winding up.
So, this is the video that I really just didn't want to make. I hate these fucking videos. But, you know, I try to have a lot more information on a story than I do for this, but people aren't really talking about it. It hasn't really become a national news story, and I can understand why it hasn't become a national news story, but at the same time, I can't believe it hasn't become a national news story. But the only reason I really know about it is because it's semi-local to me. It's up around Cleveland. I live not far from Cleveland. So it hit national, it hit local news, certainly. And I saw one video of like a group of YouTube lawyers, and they were talking about it. So I got a little bit more information, but I mean, like, local news was just like, this happened, this was kind of what's going on. But, I don't know. We'll get into it. But nevertheless, this is a rough one. Like, you guys know, I don't usually warn you unless it's warn worthy. It's bad. It involves kids. And believe me, I'm being very light even with that. Right? Like, don't think just because it involves kids that that's even fucking simple. Like, man, this is a bad one. Not gonna be a lot of jokes in this video. We'll see if I can cut loose at the end when I'm just talking about it. Who knows? But not a good one. So I'm driving to work, or I'm driving at work. Listen to the news. They tell me that there was an incident involving a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old was the victim. The 9 and the 10-year-old were the perpetrators. And they didn't really get into too much specifics, but they said it was really, really bad. Definitely assault. Possible other forms of assault. And I'm like, fuck. The YouTube video I saw, they actually said what the counts are. I do not remember all of the counts. There were many counts. But the two that are seared forever into my brain are torture and 4 counts of sexual assault. A 9-year-old and a 10-year-old are facing torture and 4 counts of sexual assault. Nine and 10 on a 5-year-old girl with autism. So there's that angle too. I watched the news clip of the mother talking about what had happened. I don't even think I can relate. Nevertheless, there has been severe mental trauma as well as physical damage. I saw the picture of the girl's head. Obviously, she had braids, and they must have just, she was like bald. So, why even tell this story? Well, I gotta say, the first thing I thought of when I heard this was, I wonder at what age that 9 and 10-year-old first got sat down in front of YouTube Kids. You know what I mean? Like, look, I've always said that violent video games don't make violent people, right? Because I'm like, well, I played violent video games all my life, right? And I'm thinking of like Legend of Zelda, you know what I mean? Like not. And then time goes on, and I played Manhunt. And I gotta say, at first, Manhunt horrified me. That's the crazy thing about Manhunt. The weapons get more interesting as you go along. And the paper, the plastic bag, I was like, a shard of glass. I was like, wild. And then I was like, whatever, I'm an adult. I understand that this isn't real and it's not a good thing to do to other people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really learning anything. I'm just seeing crazy shit, right? And now as I get older, and I realize that video games have now become a thing. Like, video games are now a source of income. You play video games, stream it on Twitch, you can make money. Every kid now wants to be a streamer. Every kid now watches all these streamers. And at what age do you start seeing the type of violence that you can see now? At what age is that, like, bad? And, you know, the world has shifted since I was a kid. So now, I kind of wonder, because I'm not, and look, I'm not even talking averages here. I'm just saying, where did these kids learn to do that? Did they just have the devil in them? They just listened to the intrusive voices and did every fucking thing they said. Like, I guess I can believe that too, but I gotta tell you, I don't really particularly love the idea of a naturally, like, evil kid like that. I'd like to look deeper if we can. I'd like to think outside the box of, well, they're just really bad. Hold on. You know what I mean? Because, like, I was a bad kid to a degree. Jesus Christ. I was never up on torture and sexual assault charges when I was either 9 or 10. And also, I believe one of the 9 and 10-year-olds is a boy. The other one's a girl. The 5-year-old victim, girl. So, at 9 and 10, like, my God. You want to know what? I can tell you exactly what I was doing at 9 and 10, right? And you'll know it's the truth because I showed you the shit. At 9 years old, I was preparing to begin a year-long crusade to get 167 Marvel Universe cards. And at the age of 10, I was on said crusade. That's what I was doing at 9 and 10. Reading comics and getting ready to con my parents into buying me all sorts of cards. That now at 46, I have put in beautiful sleeves and cases, and I have them in a nice fucking suitcase that has locks and shit. It's ridiculous. The way that reality has shifted. Like things that I daydreamed that maybe I could do someday. Now I'm doing as a middle-aged man. Right? And then these kids are not fucking concerned with that shit. They don't give a fuck about comic book cards. And they're tricking the 5-year-old autistic girl out in the middle of a field or wherever the fuck and doing I don't even know what. I know roughly enough to know I don't want to know details. I've seen enough details, I don't want to know anymore. And I'm not going to share with you any more than I've already shared with you, and I hope that it's been general enough that you'll know that you don't want to look into it, but at least know how horrifying it must have been. But it really makes me wonder, at what age were these kids plopped down in front of YouTube Kids? Did that happen? Like, look, we need to at some point. For me, this is weeks old, or a week old, or something like that. For you guys, you're just hearing about it. I understand, but I'm already progressed beyond this, the horror of it. And at some point, we need to get down to, okay, where did this go wrong? We need to examine what kind of home life these kids were raised up in. Not that I'm blaming the parents. Again, that's very fucking surface level, right? Do we blame the parents? To a degree, I'm sure. Something happened there. Let's forget about that for now and let's find out what it was. At what age did these kids play Manhunt? You know what I'm saying? Like, at what age did these kids start watching porn on the internet? At what age did these kids start watching freaky anime hentai porn on the internet? Like, and again, not blaming the parents. I have no fucking clue. Both of those kids could have cell phones. So, but somewhere something happened with these kids that went fucking sideways. So, Ouija board? Like, because that's some pretty devilish shit. So, I don't know, man. But all I know is that a scant 5, 6, half a year ago, I took a week off to make an hour-long video, chopping up all sorts of other people's work and piecing it together into one big fucking horror show. And now here I am, asking these kind of questions about a 9 and a 10-year-old who savagely attacked a 5-year-old. Like, oh, she's autistic. Wow. really? Does that matter? A 5-year-old. Like, I don't give a shit that she's autistic. Does it make it better? No. Does it make it worse? Considerably. But 5-year-old. Like, once you hit 5-year-old, lead with autistic. And then who isn't autistic in this situation? Autistic 9 and 10-year-old abuse an autistic 5-year-old. Fuck me. Like, psychopathic 9 and 10-year-old. Perhaps there's something there. We need to do a psych evaluation on these kids. So, how many squirrels have you dissected? Oh, like 24. Got bored with that and moved on to dogs. Okay, cool. What'd you do to the dogs? Well, I got this like little bed and I made it sit on the fucking bed all day long. And every time it tried to move off the bed, I'd shock it with a shock collar. And I made it sit there until it died of thirst. And then I dissected the puppy. Alright. That's why I tell for a joke on this video. I told you, towards the end, I'd make some funnies. But, I mean, holy shit, there's gotta be some sort of genetic defect or social effect going on here. Because I really just don't like the idea of thinking that a 9-year-old and 10-year-old would just get the idea to do this off the fucking fly and then just roll with it as it went along. I don't like that explanation. And I don't like, well, it's all the parents' fault because the parents taught them that. And if that's even fucking remotely in play, holy shit, like what the fuck is going on in that house? Right? Like the more you try to think as simple about it as you can, it gets even more fucking horrifying because I don't like the idea of that. I want to look at other things. But nevertheless, man. Oh my god, like... And again, it's not like this is the 15th time this has happened this week. It's the first time that I can think of that it's ever fucking happened. But nevertheless, I look around me and I see all manner of moral rot and decay. And then I hear about this. In the same year that I made the YouTube Kids video. I don't know about you guys, but I remember shit that I've done in the past. Remember, I'm a time traveler. I remember the past because either I've read about it or I fucking lived it. And I'm in the present, so I know what's going on. And because of that, I can see into the future. And I gotta tell you, this was not on my bingo card for the year. But nevertheless, it is a thing that has happened. Really don't think I'm going to follow this case. Gotta be honest with you. I don't give a fuck about the particulars. I'm kind of interested to find out what's going to... Like, how are these kids going to be charged? Are these kids going to be charged? What ultimately is going to be the thing that happens here legally? That I'm very interested in. Finding out anything else about the case beyond that, nah, I'm good. So, probably won't do another video on this one. Just saying. But yeah, it's just, it's a fucking thing, man. I don't know. But yeah. The world we live in. It is 2025.